Ooh, all right. All right, what's
What you
going
got
on?
for me?
Huh?
What you
Well,
got for me?
we gonna introduce ourselves first. So what's going on, everybody? My name is Ajwan Campbell. Go by Ace or AJ. Either one is cool with me. I'm here with my godmom here.
Hi, my name is Lolinda. I go by Linda, Lolo, whatever's easiest.
All right, all right.
Lolo's probably the easiest.
We got a couple topics, man, that we gonna run down, and it's gonna just have a good conversation.
Let's have a good
That's what it
conversation.
is. So,
Only difference today is there's a camera.
we ain't even looking at the camera.
Okay.
Only if you want
Okay.
to. But one of the topics we got here, we always got to do an introduction how we first came to be. You got to tell us the story of how
Wow.
our relationship came to be, because it's not a normal relationship in most times. So
It's not. Quick story was I met your mom. She was younger than me. I really was just trying to find somebody to hang out with, a good hangout partner.
yeah.
And she fit the description. And I was at the time dating my now husband, then boyfriend. And he, let's just say, had a lot of women. So I wanted to show up where he hung out at with some, help.
Yeah.
Not to fight or anything, but just to dance and just be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And she fit that description. She entered the room and everybody gonna look.
Oh yeah.
So we started hanging out, and I found a way for her to make a couple dollars. So I'm like, come take this little trip with me. And we came to Arizona, no less. And she was throwing up off of a pizza. I'm not gonna say the name of the pizza company. Ain't no sense of giving them no credit. But we went to a pizza place, and she put hot sauce on this pizza. And after she ate it, she started throwing up immediately. And I was like, "You pregnant?" She was like, "Oh no, ain't no way I'm pregnant. I'm on the shot." Fast forward, I don't know, a few weeks go by. I can't remember exactly, but we found out, no, she is. And at the time, she was on the shot. So it was a surprise, of course. So I hate to say this, but Shorty had one kid, so she was a little scared, and it wasn't planned. She thought she was being careful. And the solution, I don't know if it was my solution or hers, but abortion was definitely what we thought would be an easy fix.
Yeah, and that's serious. That's a serious decision to make right there.
And needless to say, we went to the place, and the guy came after they went in the back, I guess, to do the procedure. She came out crying, and I'm like, "What's wrong?" And she like, they say I'm far enough that I think they even could tell her the sex, if I'm not mistaken. And she was devastated. And I'm like, "Well, stop crying. Let's take that money out," because I was gonna help with the abortion. I'm like, "Take that money and get the baby something."
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward, I don't feel like some of this is my story to tell, so I would rather her tell it.
Yeah.
But fast forward, what I'm going to say is, for me, we hung out the whole time she was pregnant, and I didn't feel like you would be my child, But she went into labor at my house, so I took her to the hospital, and I still wasn't connected to you. So I dropped her off, After a while, I went on about my business. I sat there for a minute, but I went on about my business, and coincidentally, I was going out of town that night, and I came back the next day because it didn't go right. And I went to the hospital, to tell her about my time.
Yeah.
And she had you, and you in the hospital bed, and I'm talking my stuff about my time. I ain't paying you no attention. And you cried a little bit, and it was the cutest little cry. And I'm like, "Oh, what's his name?" And she's like, "Why didn't name him?" And I'm like, "Why not?" And she like, basically, she was gonna leave you there. And I don't know if she was, now that I think about it, if she even really would have been able to go through with that.
Yeah.
She's probably just talking. But me being who I am, problem solver, I'll take them. And let's name them this. Because your sister's name was Ajane, so it just seemed like it go together. So somewhere in my mind, I knew it wasn't forever.
Yeah.
Or why would I give you that name? You understand what I'm saying? I just knew she was young. I knew she was struggling at the time. And I'm like, I can take them. And day one, she was always in your life. I would be like, hey, I need a babysitter, or whatever, And throughout that time frame, we had like a little, I don't know, bonding moment where she became my baby mama. and you became my son as well as hers. And once school started, it was like, hey, your daughter getting perfect attendance. Let them go to school from over there, and I get them on the weekends. And I became a weekend mom. Wow. And a holiday, any breaks. Yeah. It was rare that you wasn't with me for the weekend or a holiday. I don't remember many days where you like, I'm not going to come this weekend. It was just like...
It was always every weekend.
Every weekend.
Now, what made you say, like, for this kid to not be mine by blood, I'm going to still treat you as though you came from me? Like,
I always loved kids. I always loved kids. And I had God kids before you, but they were just like, I see them every holiday and stuff like that. They never... Well, your God's sister, Pootie, she spent some time at my house, like on some weekends. But nobody else. Not like that, And so I always loved kids, from a little on, and I always wanted kids. So for me, it was easy.
Yeah.
And you was an easy baby. And the love was like instant. I can remember wanting to fight the nurses because they went to do your little circumcision. And I'm like, she's hurting him. Because they just, they probably do 1 million a day. Not 1 million, but
Yeah.
So it's nothing. But I felt like, be gentle. Like, whoa.
Like, calm down.
Like, calm down. He gonna need that later, okay? It's important because I've ran into a few ugly ones in my life. So it's like, hold on. Don't mess my son up. And have him being one of those ones. Where they forget, get it all.
Turtleneck.
Turtleneck. Or they got some of it and left too much on the other side.
Oh my gosh, Bob.
It's like, let's get it right.
Right.
But Renee was like, girl, he all right. And you survived. And when he got time to bring you home from the hospital, I'll never forget, I called my honey like, we got a baby. And he like, what? I'm like, me and you gonna be the godparents. But I need everything. I don't got no car seat that said I can't leave the hospital without one. So he let me come get some money, and I went and got everything I needed. And it was easy. It was so easy. I never even, it was like, but see, I feel like God don't make no mistakes.
He don't.
Because years later, I found out I can't have kids. So it's like, wow, I see why that had to happen. That needed to happen for me to be able to experience motherhood in a way that I had never had a chance to. Because even, being a godmother or auntie or a girlfriend, I had been around kids and babies. But to wake up through the middle of the night, all night, to, teach you stuff and those little sweet things that only a kid can say to you. All of that, I got a chance to experience all that, And for kids, you don't know nothing about blood.
No.
By the time you realize what's going on here. And for you, as a baby on up, you really don't know. You just got 2 mamas, I think is probably what you know.
Right.
And then once you got older, you like, okay, godmama. But then you probably like, Why nobody else godmama is like this?
Honestly,
This is like a godmama I ain't never heard of.
Yeah.
Nobody go over their godmama house for the weekends.
To me, it was just normal though. It felt like, because I think too, when it came to like living with my mama, it was always just like, it just felt regular. Like it always felt like I'd done that my whole life. But when it came to like coming to the weekend and coming to your house, it was like, this is fun. This is cool. I ain't gonna say I'm just doing whatever, but like, you know, it's definitely a difference between different households, and I'm always super grateful for like to the two versions that I had with yours and my mom's. And
Yeah.
I think too, about what we really gotta understand in the Sabbath is that I call you mom because it's like, I don't see just no like godparent. I'm not gonna put godparent on how I feel. I just view you as though you're my mom, because both of you are my mom for real.
Exactly.
In my eyes, so it's like I don't really care.
And I look at you like you my son.
And that's different.
Now for America, I say godson because nobody would ever understand what I mean when I say, that's my son. I didn't have him, but that's my son.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you adopted him? No, I never legally adopted him. I didn't have to.
Right.
Because it was no beef.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with me and Renee, I feel like she came along at a perfect opportunity for me, because I had a lot of people, not a lot, but I had a few people around me that, let's just say, didn't have my best intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize at the time that I couldn't drink. You know, I would drink and just pass out. You know, I had blackouts where the next day I don't know what happened.
White girl wasted.
You know, I'm asking like, what happened? And she would have my purse, my money, my keys, and drove me home from wherever we were at. And I was like, this girl don't even know me.
Yeah.
And she could have did so many things. And she never did, no matter how much money, no matter how much jewelry, no matter nothing. You know, she would try to help clean my house for me and try to, just always trying to help, you know. She was just, you know, I look at people now that I'm older and I realize that you're only as good as your team.
That's right.
And at the time, she was on my team.
Mm-hmm.
I had a few people that was just like my team, whereas these are the people I saw constantly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? My cousin, I had a few cousins, but my one cousin all the time, her all the time. And, you know, my honey, you know, at the time we was just dating, so I had him and a few guys I dated off and on after we broke up or whatever. But for the most part, you know, even though I didn't know her a long time, when you came, from the little time I did know her, she showed me she was solid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I appreciated that, you know, because I'm used to people fuck with you because they need you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's out of need. And when they don't need you no more, man, fuck you.
Like transaction relationship.
You know what I'm saying? But that wasn't what the case was. It was like, okay, we went out. You drove your car. You might even bought me a couple drinks. Let me make sure you get home safe.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Your house is a little junky. I'm going to clean up your house for you.
Right.
I wake up and, you know, and even now, 20 whatever years later, because you're 25, so let's just say 27 years later, she still clean up every day.
Yeah.
That's just who she is. You know, clean, got your back. I'm talking about, can't nobody do nothing to me and she right there.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't gonna happen. Or can't nobody probably talk about me to her. Even if she let them talk their stuff, she ain't paying them no attention.
Right. Because
people done tried to do that too. Because, you know, a lot of times people don't mean to be jealous or envious, but they are. Yeah. So it's like, here it is, this girl that don't got no blood, and you doing all this stuff for her and her child. Why? Mm-hmm. I'm your blood. What you got for me?
Yeah.
So let me go tell her this, so that could, or tell you this. Can't nobody tell me nothing about her either, though. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, that was a thing one time, you know, somebody told her I said she wasn't my friend. She's not. She's my family.
Yeah. It's just that simple.
But of course they didn't say it that way.
Right.
But she's younger than me. You know, we come from a different time. You know, I come from, man, she come from a good house where, you know, they went to bed at night and, you know, mama cooked dinner every day. And, you know, we was getting it out the mud a couple times in my life. So I'm all about hustling, scheming, and trying to figure a way out when I'm in my 20s when I meet her,
Yeah.
But she was younger than me, and even though she was from, like at the time she was living in the area, because we met downtown projects, you would probably think, oh, she know all about the scam and the hustle. And no. A square, if I ever seen one. If you talk to her or look at her and the way she carries herself, you would think, oh, she from the street, she about it. No, she's square. She ain't doing nothing. She ain't doing no illegal stuff. She ain't sold no drugs. She ain't held no drugs for nobody. She ain't did none of it. No, she is a square. I ain't trying to do nothing illegal. Maybe drive without a license illegal. That's about it. That's about as far as you're gonna get. But I'm not stealing nothing. I'm not No, I'm not doing nothing crazy. Whereas me, I'm like,
so I'm on that.
Figure out a way to get away with this shit.
Yeah.
So we definitely different. You know what I'm saying? She know how to dance real good. I can't dance a lick. I ain't got no rhythm. She like to go out and have a good time. I don't want to leave the house. So that's why I say no, because we not friends like that. We are family.
Yeah.
I love her, and I'm gonna love her forever because she gave me a son. Who I touching the mic with? Because she gave me a son, and it's like most people will probably think like you did that for her. No, what she did for me, to trust me with the most precious thing ever, a child. Because she could have just gave you to a stranger if she didn't want to have nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. She could have said, no, you ain't taking him from here. He's going to stay here. Because if you take him, I know I'm going to see him. Because at the time, we right there with each other.
Yeah.
So girl, bye. No, she knew. Because at the time, we lived in the same parking lot.
Wow, I didn't know that close.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I stayed, where your Uncle Michael is and your Auntie Tess is. I was in that middle hallway.
Wow.
And then the first hallway when you first pull into that lot.
Yeah.
Here go your Uncle Michael. That first one right by his house. That's where they stayed. In your fat ma house, which was your great grandmother.
Yeah.
You never got to meet her. She passed while you were in your mama's stomach. And that devastated her too. It was, so I'm sure she was going through. Now we know about postpartum.
Yeah.
We didn't know about that. We didn't even know that was a thing. At least I didn't. So now, fast forward 25 years, she had some postpartum going on. Probably had whatever you have when you be sad while you pregnant. It's a thing. Your hormones. It ain't got nothing to do with you as a human. My mother wanted to get rid of me. She wanted to get rid of my brother, but thank God she didn't. We still here. But so you can't really be like, oh, that was wrong. Nah, you kind of had to be there. But thank God it worked out the way it did. Because for me, when I did find out I couldn't have any children, I could only be grateful. Like, dang, what if she wouldn't have gave me you? What if that wouldn't have happened? What if I wouldn't have got a chance to do that? I got a chance to do it all. And I got a chance to experience unconditional love.
Yeah.
Because only a child can give you that.
That's
your
right.
husband can't give you that. Your wife can't give you that. They think they can. You might think they can. You want to believe it. No, not like a child. The love between a parent and a kid is unconditional. There's nothing you can do to make me not love you.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I'm sure there's nothing I can do to make
but it's the same thing.
Same thing with my dad. It's like unconditional love. So for me, I'm just so grateful for her because it all turned out so perfect.
Yeah.
Because had your dad been a different guy, it wouldn't have worked. Like, my baby ain't going, what the fuck? That could have been, you know what I'm saying?
That happens a lot, though.
Because he was so, I was able to be like, So it worked out for me in the end. So I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm forever grateful to your mom for that.
Now, when it comes to the idea of like blood not even needing to be a factor in you being considered as family, was that something that you was brought up on?
Yes. My mother was an only child and had no siblings. to give me aunts and uncles. Mm-hmm. But while I was growing up, I had these aunties, and I had all these grandmamas.
Yeah.
You know, I had this auntie and her mama. I mean, this mama, this grandmama, and this auntie, and this auntie, and this grandmama. And it was weird. I didn't understand why I had all these different grandmothers and all these different aunties, but some of these people wasn't really cool with each other. They didn't consider themselves family.
Yeah.
So how am I family with all these people? And how do you got all these different mamas? Well, until I was probably about 16, I started to really question it. And then she explained to me like, well, my mom died when I was 20 and my daddy died when I was 18. And these people is who took me in, basically. And I'm like, wow. But by then, you already love the people you love.
Yeah.
So blood never was a thing for me because I was brought up for it not to be a thing. Now that I'm older, I realize it's really not. Because, you know, my grandkids, none of them are blood. But I love my grandkids.
Yeah.
You know, you know, I thought being a mama was like as good as it get. Till I became a grandmama, I'm like, oh, it gets better.
You get to be with the kids all over again.
Yeah, all over again, but without all the responsibility. You just get to have
like
fun.
You back.
Go ahead on back on to your mama. Oh, you need something? Here you go.
Man, that's so beautiful because I think so many people get this idea mixed up with the fact that only blood is relatives, and like, you know, like if it ain't blood, I can't consider you as like family. And I think I figured that out too with one of my friends. Me and him been friends for about 10 years or so, and he's been like the brother I never had in a sense, you know. And it's rare to say that like you have friends from like middle school and elementary school you growing up with, and having them, you know, really show you some real love and like really like have conversations with you that you probably can't really have with your other family members. You know, that I think that just really always meant a lot to me. And especially from you, it was like, I feel like the first example of like blood don't even need to be necessary for us to be considered family. And I can't thank you enough for that, because the story of like how you and my mama got together and how you know, how I came to be, and you know, like you said, God blesses us in ways that we can't fathom to find out you couldn't have kids, and then I'm that kid that needed somewhere to go because my mom wasn't ready for that time, you know. And that always meant a lot to me. Like when I just always growing up, I thought about that. So that's always been cool. Yeah. So going back to grandma, not having any aunties, uncles, and nothing like that, but you know, I finally, you did have Uncle Jermaine, you know, a little later on. How was it growing up with grandma and then transitioning over from being the only child to then having your brother at the time?
Ooh, I was so happy because by my mom had me late in life. She was 24. Most of her friends had babies at 16, 17, 18.
Yeah.
So when she had me at 24, most of them, their kids bigger. So some of them were bullies, you know, so, you know, and we didn't have our first own house to ourselves till I was like 11.
Wow.
So I always had to share a room. I always had to, you know, be around other kids, you know, that wasn't my sister or brother, but they had sisters and brothers. So it would be them against little old me. So once I had a brother, I was like, yes, my little brother, yes. You know, even though it didn't never, by the time, he was 6 years younger than me. So
yeah,
by the time he came and got old enough, it was almost a burden, like, take your brother with you. I'm like, no. I'm 16, he 10, he can't go.
He can't go.
I'm 10, he's 6, he can't go. I'm 7, he 1, he can't go. So it was always like, that 6 year apart, that was way too big of a difference. Because it was cute at first when he was a baby. Ooh, cool, let me play with this little baby doll. But as soon as he started talking back, I don't want him to go nowhere with me. As soon as he started doing anything other than just being a baby doll for me, I was over it. Or when she was pregnant, I loved it. I was rubbing the belly. Mama, talking to it, kissing it. Mama. Ooh, and he was premature. So it was like he was real little and he was born with a hole in his heart. So it was just a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
This all have Uncle Jermaine had all this?
Yeah.
Golly.
So they made my mama sign, they didn't make her, but she signed some paperwork for them to get him some experimental medicine to close that up. That if it didn't go right, she couldn't sue. She signed it, it worked. Thank God, he's still here.
Thank God.
But yeah, it was my baby. And then it became almost like he was my kid, you know, to whereas once I got grown in the Army at 18, you know, I felt like it was my responsibility to send money home to my little brother.
Yeah.
Send my little brother, you know, his first car. Let me give my little brother his first car. I bought that, you know. Then when I got cars, I get a new car, get him my old car. You know, that's what you do to your little brother. You know, that's just how I felt, you know. Even though my big brother never really did nothing nice for me like that. I mean, he helped me with my houses and stuff, but nah, he never really been doing good enough to help me financially.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like a big brother, you would assume.
Right.
You know?
Now, even then, like, go Uncle Lou, like, so what, how many years apart are you, Uncle Lou?
10.
10 years apart. So do you think it was the same type of relationship between y'all?
For us, I believe for him, he's got a personality where he's all love and he all family. So I never felt like it was like it was always my little sister, my little baby girl, you know, because I remember meeting him, because I don't remember growing up with him because he got a different mom than me. But I can remember when I was about 7, 8, so he had to be about 18. Him and my dad come over, and I was so just like in awe because him and my dad look like twins. So when my daddy say this is my brother, I believe it.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at his whole face. But he tall. And back then it looked, because he's 6'1" or something.
Right, yeah.
So it looked crazy tall to a kid, and he's taller than daddy.
Yeah.
So it's like you got my daddy face, but you bigger than my daddy, blew me away. But he was so nice, tickling me and put me on his lap, playing the little horsey game that people play with the kid. And, you know, so I was like, oh, my big brother. So, but I never had a chance to live in a house with him as a kid.
Okay.
You know, so I don't know that dynamic of growing up with him in the house. I just remember meeting him then, and then I probably didn't see him again for a couple years at daddy's, you know, and by then he grown, so he went to college for a little while. Then he came home, and he stayed with my dad for a minute, so I would see him over there because I would be with my dad for a minute too. I don't even know if he stayed there or he was just visiting a lot, but we had a chance while he was grown and I was a kid to be at my dad's.
Yeah.
And that's where I was able to bond even more and realize, like, I got a cool big brother. And him and Angel got married. I was in their wedding. I was only 16, I think, at the time, but I was in their wedding. And I used to spend the night over their house, even before they got married. He that brother.
Yeah.
Let you come spend the night. He'd take me over there to spend the night. Come pick his little sister up, which was cool. You know, now that I'm grown, I think about that. You know, I can remember him letting me drive a car one time. I was learning how to drive. It was snow outside. I was scared.
In the wintertime?
And he let me drive. And I was like, man, I'm gonna tear this car up. Of course, it wasn't a nice car anyway.
Oh, yeah.
But it was still a car.
Yeah.
And he let me drive that sucker. So I have a lot of great memories of my brother. You know, the way your uncle is today is how he's been his whole life.
Yeah.
Happy. Every day he's happy. I don't have that. I wish I had that. I don't have that where I wake up I have to fight to be happy.
I mean, that's a real thing though, because I feel like our minds always create some sort of problem. Or it's like we hyper fixate on a problem that we've been having for so long, and like we just feel so guilty the fact we couldn't understand like how we still haven't solved this issue, or, you know, whatever it may be. But I know oftentimes that's what it be like, you know. Even
Angie, my stepsister, I don't say step, but I'm just saying that for the purposes of knowing who we talking about here. But even my sister, you know, she came into my life. I had to be about 8, 9, 10 years old, you know. Probably, I could have been 7, but I was young. And she was always just like she is now.
Yeah.
Happy. She was never mean to me, even though she was way older than me, because I think she's 10 years older than me too. So, you know, I'm 10, she's 20. Or no, she was in high school when I met her. So she probably was 14, 15, and I'm 7 or 8. She could have been a real to me, because who was this kid? She didn't like my daddy. So she was...
What?
Yeah, she did not like... Because she liked the guy her mom was with before him.
Oh,
so she was still stuck on that guy, this nice guy. Like, why you leave this guy to come with this guy? I don't know this man.
Yeah.
Who are you? She loved daddy now.
Yeah.
But she did not like daddy back when she was a teenager.
Wow.
She would call him Mr. Lowe. Yeah.
It's Lowe.
Mr. Lowe. Whereas, you know, everybody else was, you know, like Kim, her mama, Carol, she called him daddy. Like even her, I met her back then, you know, around that time, Carol. You know, because that was Crystal's goddaughter, I guess, or Bay's. I can't remember whose goddaughter, how she came to the family. But yeah. And once she had Kim, that was my little baby too.